Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. And Kelly's with us today. Kelly, how are you doing on this fine day?
Doing
Hopefully
great.
It's a fine day.
It is a fine day. You know, it's all how you make it, right? So It's a great day, and we're gonna do some good things today. I don't know what we're gonna do today, but we're gonna do some good things today. I just know it. I know it. I have this feeling, and you know what? We got a little help from the rates on the Federal Reserve and the bond market, and so rates are down a little bit from where they were, getting closer into lower sixes than they have been before. The headline was in the lowest they've been, or approaching the lowest they've been in 3 years. Now, obviously, the Fed dropped the federal funds rate yesterday, which is great, but the mortgage rates already were built into that, so we had a little compression. They went down prior to that, and they went actually back up a little bit since the announcement, because they're looking at the overall underlying economic conditions as well. So, anyways, things are going good.
Yeah, and that kind of plays into a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. Obviously that's kind of the big news right now, and I believe that they said they're planning on cutting the rates more toward the end of the year, like throughout the end of the year, which will play into eventually mortgage rates. And so we've been saying this for a really long time, that there's, a lot of pent up demand. Back when things were flying off the shelves, right? There was a lot of buyers who missed out on homes and decided to just sit it out, right? And then interest rates were crazy, continue to sit it out. So we're hoping as we see those interest rates drop, we'll see kind of the market pick back up from where we're kind of in this lull right now. Speaking of that, so if all predictions are correct, and it will be, it's just a matter of when, but what should you be doing now to prepare for that market, not necessarily the market we're in right now, Kelly? That's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is a good topic, guys. So dial in your ears for the next couple of minutes, because I think this is a good one to really pay attention to. Now, the market we're going to be in next, we don't know when that's going to be. It could be in a couple of months. Probably not. Could be in a year. Could be 6 months. Could be 2 years. We don't know. But the market's cyclical, and it will be a different market at some point in the near future. And I think it's going to be sooner than later. Now, here's the deal. Why do I think that? Well, there's a lot of reasons. But the most important one is because Jerome Powell, who we know does not get along with President Trump, is his 4-year contract that Congress approved in 2022 is up January 31st of 2026. Very important date. So it's up. And so that means when it's up, it can be renewed, or you can bring someone else in. So there's no secret about this, that current president is going to bring someone else in. And obviously going to be someone else that, likes him, and he likes him, and they like each other, blah, blah, blah. So, and there's no question what the current president wants to do with rates, and he thinks they should be lower. And if they're lower, the economy should get an injection in its arm, the housing market especially, right? So to take that, and knowing that is a almost certainty. Now, is the overall economy not in very good shape by the time this happens in Q1, of next year? Maybe. It's always a possibility, right? Unemployment rate continues to go up. People are not being able to be employed at the same rate they have been for the last couple of years. And then that kind of, offsets the rates coming down because they can't afford it regardless. They don't have a job. That's always a possibility, but I think that's pretty extreme. I don't know that the unemployment rate is going to rise that fast, that quickly. So by Q1 next year, I just don't see that happening right now. And primarily because, guys, here's the deal. Primarily, the amount of equity in people's homes is significant right now. And so you just have a situation where even if they get laid off, they may not be able to afford their payment, let's say worst case, can't afford the payment, and they go late. But if they can withstand working some sort of deal out with the bank and just getting behind, they can still sell their house, even though they're late, 5 months, 6 months, whatever, and pay it off when they sell, right? including all the extra late fees and attorney's fees, whatever, whatever their state laws are in whatever across America, right? So you have a situation where I don't think it's going to get horribly bad, even if it does get not so great in the next several months, for some reason. I don't think it's going to be bad fast enough. Whereas I think the rates could come down much faster and solve any issues in the underlying economy that translates to the housing market. So that being said, what is your business going to be like? What is it preparing for in Q1 and Q2 of 2026? Okay, and this is not a business planning podcast, guys. You know we're big on this, right? And that comes up end of October, being November-ish, and that's right around the corner here. But what is your business going to look like? If you're behind your goal right now, you may have given up for the last couple of months, because I know a lot of agents right now that are behind because transaction counts are down and it's a slower market like it kind of was last year, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all, right? But don't stop, because don't wait until November, right? Early November to get in gear. Get in gear now. And I'll never forget this quote Alex Hormozy said, and I'm going to butcher it because I don't remember it verbatim. I didn't write it down. I should have. But he said something like this, right? And I've said this before, I think maybe on this podcast once or twice in the past. But I was at a conference and he's giving a keynote, and he said this thing. He said, right now, first of all, he goes, if the market is tough, and when he gave his keynote, it was still pretty slow, right? It's like 2023, I believe, or maybe end of 22 when rates and inflation were through the roof. Yep. And he said, right now the market's hard. But guess what? This is what hard looks like. You have to remember to remind yourself this is what hard looks like, because it's not always going to be roses and rainbows, right? Every single year, forever and ever and ever. Things go up, things go down. He goes, so continue to make your content. Continue to get the educational word out to your sphere of influence, your people, your tribe, even people you don't know on social media. Get the word out about educating them on you still working hard in your business and educating them on certain aspects of whatever it is, the job that you do. Why? He goes, because the expectation should be no one's going to call you or DM you right away and say, hey, I want to sell or buy a house. And maybe one, maybe two, over the course of whatever time.
You might get lucky. Yeah,
you might get lucky, right? A year, whatever, right? But if you were getting 5 DMs a month with the same cadence of social media before 2022, you should keep doing the same cadence of social media. You might get 0. But he goes, don't worry, because the lack of people who are contacting you directly to do something is magnified 1,000 times by the amount of people who are still watching you, waiting to do something when the market turns. So if I can encourage you to look ahead and don't plan for the market we're in, but plan for the market you're going to be in, you will take market share. You will have the snowball at the top of the mountain that you're trying to push, and it ain't moving. It will move and go down the mountain and gain steam. So that's my biggest encouragement. So what's one way you can do it? Well, I just said one thing. Continue getting the word out. Best megaphone and platform that's free to do this is social media. Educate your database, educate your sphere, on the platforms you are on. Be consistent on social media, number one. Number two, call your database, text your database, have an email campaign as well. Continue to show up, even if it's not an educational piece, give social proof and tell them stories about what you're doing and wins in your business, maybe even losses, maybe even frustrations about how you're working through certain things. But guess what? You're still showing up and you're still working, and that's what you're showing them. And then, even though all of that work doesn't translate into much immediate business, when the market changes, if you keep that same consistent rhythm when the market changes, you will now have tenfold the amount of business you have today. And you're like, hold on, I don't know if I deserve this much activity, this much business, because I feel like I'm not actually putting the word out, but I'm so busy. That's because of what you did
all the work
today.
before.
Yep, that's right. So prepare for the market we're going to be in, not the one we're in now. And it's really simple, guys. You might say, well, Kelly, I don't believe with the interest rate and the Federal Reserve chair, a new guy comes, the economy's going to go bad. I still don't believe it's going to be a good market maybe in Q1, Q2. That's cool. You don't have to. And it may not be, by the way. It might be another 3 years. Who knows? But all I can tell you is, have we been in a market worse than this recently? Of course we have. But that was the Great Recession, the worst thing we've had since the Great Depression. So chances are that we are in a lull. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out that we're in a lull as opposed to a high. But we're in a lull because transaction counts are way down from where they were when we had a high post COVID, and interest rates much higher than where they were. Inflation higher than where we were. Now we have tariffs that we have to navigate through and see how that has an effect on certain aspects of the economy. So if anything, we're at a low point, maybe not the lowest point we've been in the last 20, 30 years, but we're at a low point of the cycle. So the next market, whenever it is going to be a high cycle. It just is. And will it be as high as it was in 2021 coming off COVID? Probably not. Could be, but probably not. But it's
That
going
was
to
a
be it's going
pretty
to be
a
a high.
pretty unique set of circumstances with everything that happened
Correct.
there, but it's still it peaks and it lulls, and it's
That's right.
will be coming up on some point.
2013 to 2020 was a high market. It was as high as 2021 when it V bounced. No, but it was a good market. It was a solid market. Then of course we had a little lull with COVID, and then we had another super high right after that. So the next market's coming, guys, and it will be high, and it probably won't be 3 years. That's just kind of common sense in a way, right? It's probably going to come in a lot sooner than that, and I would say it's going to come in 2026 at some point, in my opinion.
And the other question that I would ask, or I'd be asking myself, is even if you don't believe that, things are going to swing up in quarter one of 2026, or, sooner than Kelly thinks that it might, what is the alternative? Honestly, like what would be the alternative to what you're doing right now? Keep up with, and if you don't already have these consistent plans, now's the time to make them and set those systems, right? So that when things do eventually swing up, things are kind of perfected for you and you're in a cadence. And truly the question is, if you just say, well, I don't think it's going to be that busy, what is the alternative? Because at that point, if you just say it's not busy, nobody wants to do anything, I'm not going to do anything, you're only hurting yourself, not just for now, but for the future. And it's you're not going to have a very good business now or
Yeah,
ever. I mean,
100%. And think about it. Like it makes no sense, but the human brain is a funny thing, right? Because you have a situation where, like I look back on our team, we were having this conversation yesterday on our team. We had all these agents in the back of our office, right, on the phones, and they were throwing footballs and playing ping pong, for a 15-minute break, getting back, texting, calling clients, etc. And now we haven't had that same energy. Still good energy, but not the same energy that we had in 2021 over the last couple of years.
it's
Why
hard to
is
stay
that?
motivated.
Yeah, yeah, because look back in 2021, the market was easier. Deals
Mhm.
were there for a lot less work. Now it's just the opposite. So you would think that when it gets harder, people bear down and they go, you know what? I need to get back there and make even more of those calls, more of those text messages, emails, etc. But they don't. They do just the opposite and they fold
The
and they
feel
take a
of
step
why
back.
bother?
Why
Hmm.
bother? But man, the people that actually do that, they treat now the same as 2021 when it comes to work, like, lead measure work, are the ones that are going to crush in 2026, guys. And I think it's setting up really nice for those types of agents to really, I mean, seriously crush in 2026. That is our goal.
Success is boring. Even
Success.
even when things change around you, success is boring.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
all
Success is
right.
boring.
Fantastic. Well, if anybody has any questions or wants to talk to Kelly further about this, investing, rental properties, any other topic that we've discussed here, Kelly, where can they reach you?
Absolutely. I'm open book. Hit me up on Instagram. Give me a follow there if you don't mind at Kelly Cook Homes. That'd be great.
And I will attest to this whole conversation. Kelly practices what he preaches. Kelly, in this slow market, which I think you really, I mean, probably over the last couple of years is when you really started your like Instagram game, the YouTube game, getting really intentional about that.
Mhm.
Have your habits changed since it's been a slower market?
Nope. We did the exact same amount of videos every single week, like almost like clockwork, unless somebody's like sick or something really bad, right?
An
Like it's the
emergency.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still show up. I come to I'm in an office. This is my office inside an office, right? That we own, and I could sit at home, and I had this conversation too, guys, like with some agents on my team. I said, look, why is corporate America now having all these return to office policies? I mean, why is that? Oh, because they realize that the company's more efficient when that's the case. Now, maybe it's a hybrid where it's 3 days a week instead of, 5 or whatever, right? But like there's still, it's not just fully at home for most companies now. Why is that? Right. And you look at it and you go, well, okay, so success leaves clues. That's true in anything, any endeavor in life. So why do you feel like because you sit at home, you're just as efficient as you would be if you went to a place of business? Maybe Starbucks, maybe some other shared space working co-op, or maybe your regular real estate brokerage office. But either way, you should suit up, boot up, and get out of your comfort zone area and into a different environment because you're just more productive. That's just how humans are.
Changes your creativity level too in some aspects, right? Like being
Yeah.
in a different area. So
Yeah, I don't think all these corporate companies that they have to answer to shareholders and blah 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 blah, right, are just doing this for just the fun of it. If I think
mhm.
if they felt their productivity was better by everyone at home, then they would do that. And maybe for some businesses that could be the case, but the majority of them are not. And success leaves clues. So why do I think I'm smarter than those people that spend billions on this research and blah blah blah? I don't know. I don't actually. I don't
No,
think
no, you're just
I'm
following
not.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Kelly is practicing what he preaches, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to him. But otherwise, everybody, get to it, get to work, and we'll see you next week.
Heck yeah. See you guys. See you, Elizabeth.
Bye, Kelly.